Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my YouTube channel, that's Concepts of Chemistry. Before starting today's lecture, please do subscribe my channel. My dear students, today's topic for the lecture is a simple question: why do atoms of a specific elements combine? Why do atoms or elements combine? That's a simple question, and today we are going to discuss about the answer of this question. So, very first thing, I'm writing as we all know, as we all know that noble gases, that's group number 18, group 18 has stable fully filled electronic configuration, has stable fully filled electronic configuration. So the group number 18 is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, and the oganesson. So what are the electronic configurations? Helium is 1s2, neon is 2s2 2p6, argon is 3s2 3p6, krypton is 4s2 4p6, xenon is 5s2 5p6, radon is 6s2 6p6, and finally oganesson is 7s2 7p6. So the general electronic configuration of group number 18 comes out to be the ns2 and p6, where n specifies us the period number and also the main shell number. So in the whole periodic table, the elements of group 18, that is noble gases, have a stable fully filled electronic configuration. That means the noble gases have total of 8 electrons, that is 6 plus 2, a total of 8 electrons in their outermost shell. In their outermost shell. So the every element of the periodic table tries to attain the stable fully filled electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. So that's the main reason why do atoms or the elements combine. So I'm writing every element of the periodic table, every element of periodic table tries to attain stable fully filled electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. Atomic number point of view, fully filled electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. I mean the noble gas which is nearest to that element in terms of the atomic number. So, what's the main funda? That means every element tries to attain octet. In short, every element tries to attain octet, which means total of 8 electrons. Octet, that means total of 8 electrons. Why total of 8 electrons? Because ns2 np is 6. The 6 plus 2 comes out to be total of 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Every element tries to attain octet, that is total of 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Now the question arises, how will the element will attain the octet of, that is octet of 8 electrons in the outermost shell? What's the procedure? There are total of 3 types of procedures to attain octet. Either the element will lose electrons to attain octet, and form cation. Let me give you an example. I'm taking an example of sodium. What's the atomic number of sodium? It's 11. The general electronic configuration comes out to be 2, 8, 1. So the sodium will lose this electron, minus electron, to form Na positive ion with a configuration of 2, 8. So that means sodium has attained the stable noble gas electronic configuration of neon with the atomic number of 10, and it's the nearest one because sodium, the atomic number of sodium was 11. The nearest noble gas was neon with the atomic number of 10. That's why sodium has lost 1 electron to attain a octet. You can see the octet in its outermost shell. So it has formed the cation and has got the octet in its outermost shell and attained the stable noble gas configuration of neon with the atomic number of 10. Now, what's the second procedure? How the element will attain octet? What's the another type? The another type will be the element will also gains electrons. Gains electrons to attain octet and form anions. Let me take an example of chlorine. What's the atomic number of chlorine? It's 17. The configuration will be 2, 8, 7. So the nearest noble gas for chlorine is argon with the atomic number of 18 and configuration of 2, 8, 8. So what will happen? Chlorine needs to gain 1 electron to become 2, 8, 8. So chlorine will gain 1 electron. Chlorine will gain 1 electron to become an anion, the Cl negative, and will become 2, 8, 8, and will attain a octet in its outermost shell and attains the stable electronic configuration of argon with an atomic number of 18. So it has formed the anion. So what will happen? We got the two opposite charges. The one is the Na positive and another is the Cl negative. So there will be the electrostatic forces of attractions between them, and that's our chemical bond. So the electrostatic forces of attractions always forms between the opposite charges, that's Na positive and the Cl negative. We got positive and negative charges, and there's the electrostatic forces of attractions, also called the chemical bond. So they combined. So we got the reasons. Why do atoms combine? Because every atom tries to attain the stable, fully filled stable electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas, due to which it will form the cation or it can form the anion, and there will be the electrostatic forces of attractions between the opposite charges, that's positive and the negative, and that electrostatic forces will be called as a chemical bond. And we got the reason why do atoms combine, because they needs to attain the stable fully filled electronic configuration, either by gaining electron, either by losing electron. Now I'm mentioning some another point. The elements which loses electrons are always metals. The elements which gains electrons are always non-metals. Now let's talk about the third scenario. What's the third method by which the element can attain the stable noble gas configuration? The third formula will be the the third option will be the element can also share electrons among them. Share electrons among them to attain stable to attain nearest stable electronic configuration of noble gas. Configuration of noble gas. Let me take an example. The shearing of electron. First of all, I'm mentioning that shearing of electron will take place between non-metal elements. So the shearing of electron will always occur between two non-metal elements. So I'm also writing like between two non-metal elements. Let me take an example. Let me take an example of example. Let me take an chlorine. Chlorine. What's the configuration of chlorine? It's 2, 8, 7. So in outermost they are having 7 electrons. So I'm mentioning 7 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And again here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So what will happen now? Here they will share electrons between them. That means they are going to share these two electrons between them. That means the electron, hold on, that means this electron will be shared by the another chlorine, so it becomes total of 8 electrons. Let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8. Now you have to count the electron of another chlorine with over here, so it becomes an octet of 8 electrons. It have become an 8 electron. On the other hand, you have to now count this electron. I'm marking it with green. This electron with the another chlorine. So I'm mentioning like this over here. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8. So both of the chlorine have attained the octet of 8 electrons by sharing of electrons among them. That's called covalent bond, which we will going to discuss in the next lectures. So actually what we were discussing, the reason for the combination of elements, and the reason is that every element tries to attain the stable electronic configuration of the nearest inert gas, or you can say that every element tries to attain the octet, that is total of 8 electrons in their outermost shell. I'm writing it again, that every element of periodic table tries to attain an octet, that is total of 8 electrons, that is total of 8 electrons in their outermost shell, in their outermost shell. Or you can also say that every element tries to attain the fully filled stable electronic configuration of the nearest inert gas. So how an element can attain an octet? It can be done by the three methods. That's a loss of electrons, or the gain of electrons, or by sharing of electrons. So now let's come to the exception. Now I'm discussing about an exception. We have only one exception in the periodic table, and that's of hydrogen. The nearest inert gas for hydrogen is helium. What's the atomic number of hydrogen? It's 1. What's the atomic number of helium? It's 2. So the configuration of helium is 1s2. That is, helium is having duplet of electrons. Duplet of electrons in their outermost shell. In their outermost shell. So hydrogen also, I'm writing, hydrogen will also try to attain duplet in its outermost shell, because the nearest inert noble gas configuration is 1s2, and that's of helium. That's why hydrogen will also try to attain only 2 electrons. Duplet stands for 2 electrons. 2 electrons in their outermost shell, and has attained the noble gas configuration of helium. So you can also clear this topic in the topic or lecture video of oxidation states in the periodicity. In the periodicity lectures, I have made an lecture video on the topic of oxidation states and their trends in the periodic table. You can also search for that video, and you will get crystal clear clarification on this topic. Why do elements combine? So I'm repeating it again. Why do elements combine? Because every element in the periodic table tries to attain the stable nearest noble gas configuration. And how the element can do that? Either by gaining electron, or by losing electron, or by sharing electrons. If an element loses electron, it forms a cation. If element gains electron, it forms an anions. So the electrostatic forces will form between the oppositely charged ions, that's cation and anions, and that's called ionic bond, which we will going to discuss later in the lecture videos. And elements can also share electrons. The sharing of electron takes place between the non-metal and non-metal elements only, and they're gonna form the covalent bond, and we are also going to discuss this in the next lecture videos. So that's all for today. I hope you all understood today's lecture. If any student wants to book an paid one-to-one online class to clear their doubts, then she can contact me. My phone number is mentioned on thumbnail of this lecture. Please do like, subscribe, and share this channel to maximum number of students. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Stay blessed.